But this is the exact reason I think if you have an EV charger, you should have an annual inspection carried out on it. And also a looped supply. Monday, job number 1, EICR, and the guy seems very surprised to see me and not someone else. This will come clear very soon, but I'm only here for a couple of hours because I need to go and get a root canal done. So it's a new build on this EICR, and I'm surprised at the DIY work that I found already. This is how not to install garage lighting. Root canal done, and my face is back to normal. Just done 2 site visits, 1 pretty standard. Number 2 though, looped supply. So what we have here on this looped supply is this is the cutout. And at the bottom there, you can see 2 cables going into the bottom of it, which basically means that the cable comes in from the street into my customer's cutout and then back out and feeds his neighbour's house. Now this causes complications. Always keep an eye out for looped supplies. They're easy to identify unless you're on the other side of the loop, which can be a bit difficult. I wouldn't normally expect to find a loop supply on this house because it's detached, and you normally find them on terraced housing where the cable will come in from the street and straight through to the neighbour's house. Anyway, now the process to move forward is to notify the DNO, and what they're going to do is potentially carry out a survey with a cat and Jenny, which looks like this, and they'll scan the road and see where that loop goes to. They may assess the whole thing and just say, look, yeah, bang your EV install in, just make sure you've got the low curtailment in place and limit it to 60 amps and tickety boo. But we'll have to wait and see, and the customer wants to take care of that admin side of things, so that's absolutely fine. I'll quote for the job and see how we get on, and I'll guide him if he needs guiding throughout this process. So we have a little EV disc board here, and we've got it on a Type A RCD C40 breaker, but completely knackered. I can smell carbony smell. Yeah, it's normally notice it straight away when I take the cover off. Okay, so it's one of those RCDs. So with these RCDs, basically it feels like it doesn't work, but to reset it, you've got to push it down, and then lift it up, and it's not holding, which means I'm gonna take the front cover off the charger and have a look, see what's going on. Right. So the charger in question is an old Indra, apparently about 4 years old. I've had some of these burn out before, but I can smell like a carbony smell by that RCD. So if there's no sign of damage here, it's definitely that RCD module. See, that all looks all right. We've got a hardwired internet connection as well. Inside here, it's completely bone dry. All the connections look sound, so I reckon it is that RCD. So basically this RCD's just had enough, it's burnt out. So I'm gonna put a price together and swap it out, and I'll bring you along for that. Just giving Artisan lads a hand today with some EICRs, and it's surprising on these new builds how much stuff is not done. Check out this bonding. New build, gas meter, no sign of bonding. Pipe is run externally and up into the ceiling, so it might be up there. So a few interesting things that we found on that EICR, and it's been quite nice working with Luke today. Nice lads. It's not often I get to work with someone, so I've really enjoyed this. So yeah, Luke, top lad. So that carbon smell I could smell yesterday, you can see where it's burnt on the RCD. So what I'm going to do is I'll take this away and we're going to take it apart and see what part of this component failed. And I'm just going to run through a few tests to make sure that the protection is all operating correctly. That's built into the charger and the new RCD. I have a flashing red light on the Indra and I can't get any voltage through it. So there's clearly another problem. I checked inside yesterday and it all looked fine. So what's going on? Where the Indra's got these sort of Wago connections, it's very hard to get your test probes on it. So I might have to turn it off, put my crocodile clips on it and turn it back on. But I'm gonna have to take the cables out of the terminals. I just wanna check that that's all okay. Otherwise it's a phone call to Indra. And and I've just double checked, I've got no incorrect polarity or anything, so I'm quite satisfied with that. So turn it back off, put it back together, phone Indra. We now have white lights. It may have just needed a reset. Which means I should be able to boost it. Now we've got voltage through. Just gonna check that. We've got 244 there. I'm just gonna run a few tests. So my ZS test is fine. I'm just gonna do some RCD testing just to make sure that that operates correctly inside. That's good. I'm gonna be back and forth a little bit, just resetting that. 37.8, that's fine. The next test should trip at before or at 6 milliamps. So this is testing the internal protection, 5 milliamps, and then test it again at 180. 5.1 milliamps, perfect. But this is the exact reason I think if you have an EV charger, you should have an annual inspection carried out on it. It's not always the charger that's the issue, sometimes it's the protection. I'm quite happy with that. I'm gonna plug it in the car and make sure it works. I'm always hesitant just to give things a go. Test everything first. Today we're starting off with a love job. My sister is moving home and they need an EICR. Not the worst I've ever seen. Gas is bonded. These cables, would you class that as supported? This one's not supported, but a couple of clips have fixed that. But otherwise, a little bit of exposed copper on the meter tails there. Same on that conductor there. Unsupported here. Otherwise, over here, just bang my head. We've got a tails isolator, so that's good. And what we do have is a three-phase cutout in this domestic property, and also a looped supply. So sometimes, oh, why have you turned off? So what we have here is the cable that comes in from the street, and then as you can see, we have another cable here looped out the bottom, and that's going straight into next door's house. So this is exactly what I was talking about on that other job that I surveyed the other day. This is a loop supply, which is quite common to find on terrace housing. So if you're putting in EV chargers on terrace housing, always check this. It's quite unusual to see a three-phase cutout as well. Out of interest, how many of you carry out a live ZS test, or do you calculate your ZS? Let me know in the comments below. Stuff everywhere. R1R2 0.36, absolutely fine. If you are in the market for a new tester, don't buy this one. It keeps telling me that the battery's dead when I literally just charged it Sunday night, and you turn it off, you turn it back on, and it's got full battery again. I just don't trust it at all. I think I'm gonna go back to the MFT 1741 Plus that I've got. Next job is a kinetic switch, which is not turning off the outside lights. And it's not switching. So I think I'm gonna have to reset the receiver. These are the energy wireless switches. To reset it, you need to hold down the button for about 10 seconds until the light there flashes rapidly. That should be it working again. Whoa, got dizzy then. It is not switching. When I push the button, you can't hear the contact kick in. I've got another one here, and when you push it, you can hear it switching. So I'm going to turn this off, and I've got another one. I'm just going to swap it out. Now if I go back to my first light, I've got no juice. Now we have juice. So I go back to the light. Job done, on to the next. Ever seen a Gledhill unit before? Nightmare, these things. I replaced a consumer unit here last week, and then the customers went on holiday. But anyway, during that, the supply to the Gledhill, this is faulty. So I just chucked it in some connector blocks for the minute and taped it up. And now I'm back, because they're back. I'm going to stick a new switch on. Next, I need to change a light because someone crashed into me and broke it. That was the second accident I've had this year. The first one, someone pulled out of a junction, didn't look, and crashed straight into the side of me. This is going in for repair tomorrow, and I'm getting a courtesy car, so I'm gonna give this a quick clean and replace this light. And thank you for my coffee, by the way. Having a technical issue here. Disaster. Why won't this go in? Oh, I'm having a nightmare today. I've broken it. So my hire truck has broken down on its way to me. So I've gone to work, I'm doing a commercial call out now, and we'll have a look and see what we find.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate it. And like I said, as soon as I find out, I'll let you know straight away. All right.
Cheers, David.
Thanks. Bye.
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 It's like the Crystal Maze here. Oh, God. So one of these buildings, one of these offices in this block, the tenants are changed and the lights aren't working. So the old tenants have moved out. The new tenants have picked up the keys and they're not here yet. And all the instructions that I've got from David, who's a lovely guy, the legend, yeah, couldn't get me in. So this sort of thing, I'll have to come back again, but they're not bad numbers, these. It's just a straight up call out charge. So cool. I'll bring you back here when I come back here. Update on that loop supply job that I showed you at the beginning of the video, where the customer said he'll take on the admin with the D&O. Well, that hasn't gone to plan. I knew that would happen. So he's been back on the phone to me and I explained to him that there's quite a lot of admin involved in this and that I can't really take it on unless he accepts my quote, because I've been bitten before where I've completed all of this admin, got the approval for an unlooping, had all that done, and then they went with another client. So I'm not willing to do that unless my quotation is now accepted prior. So he's accepting that and I'll contact the D&O. One thing that was interesting that they said to him though was the EV charger is rated at under 50 amps. There shouldn't be a problem, which is all well and good, but I did explain that I'm not willing to just take someone's word for that. I want it in writing. So I'm going to submit the EVCP application this evening, explain that I'm going to install load curtailment and limit it to 50 amps if that's what they want, or 32 amps, that's all it's needed, and hopefully we'll be able to push that through, because I imagine that inundated or inundated, whichever is the right word, with applications for this, and they just want to push them through now and accept load curtailment. Either way, I'll keep you up to date with that one as well. Remember these? Right, let's make some notes. This completely rusted, and then inside, I don't have the right key, but that would do. It's looking a bit worse for wear. So this is all the controls for the electric gates, and then we have a consumer unit which does the gate post lighting, the gate control spur, local socket, and I know in here as well is the bollard lighting. I'm just going to take some measurements of everything. I just take photos, and then we've got a photo cell module there, a couple of few spares, and I'm just going to replace the whole lot, and I think I'll use a fiberglass enclosure rather than this metal one. And while we're here, there's obviously all this uproar about outdoor consumer units, and I've mentioned before that outdoor consumer units have been used for a long time. Well, we have one here which doesn't look rusted at all, and then like the load is just the post lights and the gates, like I've said. So is this acceptable? Would you just replace this like for like, or would you try and put like a little heater module in or something? I don't know what you can and can't do anymore. So let me know in the comments below. Obviously, there's a budget. So realistically, what would you do? Let me know. Hopefully, if my quote gets accepted, I'll be back here next week to sort all this out. You guys have been awesome the past week with these coffees, keeping me warm. It's absolutely Baltic out here. So a massive thank you to RGO Electro. Someone, literally, they're called someone, but thank you someone, you know who you are. Targ and Kiara, thank you. Jason Doyle, Rowley, and John Maguire, sorry. Very generous, thank you so much. Hussein Mortada and Metering Dan. Honestly, I can't thank you enough. You're so generous, you're absolute legends, all of you. Have you heard about the new Velocity Tracker bag? Let's take a look. Oh, that is lush. Anyway, so the process, carry out a survey with a Cat and Jerry